crushed from the blast zone in Boston at the bombing of the Boston Marathon. Many of those who survived the attack lost legs or other body parts. What lies ahead for them in the coming weeks, months, and in fact years as they try to get their lives back remains in question for them. With us now to talk about the road to recovery is Rachel Hartman from Prosthetics in Motion, a company that fits artificial limbs for traumatic injury survivors. Also, James Scesa, who lost his leg in an off-road motorcycle accident in 2011. He now counts survivors like the ones in Boston, and as well, Tomek Starnowski, a traumatic injury survivor and runner who took part in the Boston Marathon and was there for the aftermath. Thank you all for being here with us. So much to talk about here. James, you are the most recent amputee, just in 2011. Can you sort of talk about the emotional, the psychological shock and trauma that some of these new amputees from the Boston bombing are going through now?
Absolutely. Yeah, there's a time period of confusion. You know, there's a lot of confusion. There's a lot of things going on around you. There's the pain medication that you're on that also causes confusion. And then there's, you know, once you awaken or come out of that state, there's fear, there's anger. You know, that confusion stays with you. You don't really know what life is going to be like and when are you going to be able to get up and recover and get back to things.
Did you deal with overwhelming feeling of hopelessness? Because the life that you once knew is now gone. And how do you push through that? How do you get through that?
You know, you gotta have a support system. You gotta have people that are going to help put a plan together for you, because it is a process. It's a long process, day to day, but it can be a pretty quick process to get back to your normal life. You know, so but hopelessness is certainly part of that initial state.
Is there anything now that you can't do that you want to do? You have this beautiful prosthetic on.
Yep.
Have you gotten back to the life that you'd hoped you'd always live?
Absolutely. We don't use the word can't in our home. So, you know, everybody goes through medical, issues and struggles in their life. If you can be determined to get back to your life, and be determined as quickly as possible to get back to life, that is really the driving force that gets me going. And, you know, having a little boy at home and being able to carry him within months after the accident meant everything.
Tomek, you were there. You were at the race. I don't know how many injured you got to see, but I imagine you kind of knew what the road ahead for some of those severely injured were.
I have helped miles to finish, and my guide who ran with me, Ron, because I'm disabled runners, that I need help for the race. Guys run together, and he asked police officer what would happen, because I saw the front of us, the runners and people, one time they stop running, and we don't know what would happen. So the police officer, he said it was the attack, the bomb attack for the finish line. And I have a little shock, because I think about my fiancée. She's waiting for me in the finish line, and I'm not afraid for me, because for me it was the finish. I have just only have a mind to finish, but I saw a little much tired, and a lot of emotion, and this accident it was very, very, very difficult for me, but I'm here.
And we're glad that you are here. Rachel, I want to come to you with Prosthetics in Motion. First of all, I guess I want to ask, how quickly are new amputees put on the road to being fitted for a prosthetic?
Every patient is different, so I can't give you an exact date or time frame for them. What we do tell new amputees is once your suture line has healed, whether that's stitches, staples, however they want to close it, once you're fully healed, you come see us, and we fit you for a compression stocking, which we call a shrinker. which we have the patients wear for about 7 to 10 days because they're very swollen. Their limbs are still very swollen from the trauma. Following that, once we get a little bit of that residual swelling out, we can start the process. Depending on the type of prosthetic we're making for them, it can be anywhere from 3 to 5 visits to fabricate and fit the leg. And then we like to see them once a week for a couple of months, and then again, after about 6 to 9 months, we'll replace the top of their prosthesis, and then they're usually good for about another year, depending on how their volume fluctuates and things. But I would say maybe 6 to 8 weeks following full healing that they'll be up and walking and going to physical therapy 3 times a week if they choose.
Wow, that's amazing.
Rachel, talk about the technology involved and the differences in terms of the
Because
types
you've come a long way.
Very, very long way. James is wearing the Genium bionic knee system. It's the newest knee from Ottobock, who's the biggest prosthetic component manufacturer in the world. Tomek wears a C-leg microprocessor.
So is there a little computer in there?
They are computerized.
Same.
There's sensors in there, that data sensors. I think it's 50 times per second they read what's coming up. It's called real-time gait analysis with the C-leg. The Genium, the newest item, has gyroscope, accelerometer, things that you would find in a car and an airplane to be able to help guide them and read the terrain coming up. James is able to walk forwards, backwards, sidestep. He can run on it. The C-leg is the knee unit prior to the Genium, so it doesn't have all those benefits, but it is the greatest knee out there.
We unfortunately are running out of time, but James and Tomek, does this approximate a natural movement for you?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, it does. It does. And if I could, we're supporting Boston Marathon tragedy through a nonprofit that I'm a board member of. We started an East Coast chapter called Wiggle Your Toes. And if you could help out and join wiggleyourtoes.org, and we'll be supporting the victims there who lost limbs.
Thank you guys. Thank you so much for sharing your stories and telling us about